Hello and welcome back on my YouTube channel, Parth Doshi, Learning by Doing. So today in this video, we are going to see one of the advanced topic in UiPath Forms. Also, we are going to work on the UiPath Forms that is the latest version after 2023 version, which is there with the recent updates. In this, we are going to learn about how you can write a custom JavaScript logic for your form components. We are going to see where it can be used, and I'm going to show a basic JavaScript function we are going to write on our components that we have a text field component in UiPath form. So let's see what I'm going to show today. First, I'm going to just run the app, run the form, so we can quickly see it. Okay. So now if you see here, there is address mentioned and it follows a particular format that is pin code, city, country, state, and the currency. Now what I want to do is when the user selects this particular value in a drop down, I want to display that particular individual value in another text box. How you can do that? I've written a JavaScript logic behind this. How we are going to see that. But now I also want to, display that in other individual fields. So anything that is selected in the drop down, and I want to dynamically or during the runtime update that value, then I'm going to see how we can do that. All right, let me just close this and let me click on stop. All right. Now, what I've done is I've created a form. And as you know, if you have worked on the latest updates of the UiPath forms, right? Here, you have to use a show form activity in whichever sequence. Here in main sequence, I'm showing the form and bring form to foreground. And if you are having any triggers, you can use run local triggers. That was just part of my previous video, so I have. I've created a drop down, a basic component you can drag and drop over here. If I go to settings in data, I've hard coded all the data over here. One thing you have to make sure is that your label has the data with semicolon. Your value also should have the data with semicolon because we are going to fetch the value and we are going to display it in the individual boxes. All right, so this is very basic step that you have to do. Just select a drop down in data. You can hard code or you can pass it dynamically as well. Here I'm just doing hard coding right now. Okay. Once that is done, then I've dragged a simple text field that is pin code, and I'm going to drag another that is going to be for city. So I have it over. Now here what you have to do is here you have to go to settings and you need to go to the logic tab. So here I'm going to write an advanced logic, which is going to be a JavaScript logic, like I said. And when you do that, right, first option, you will get to add an logic over here. Okay. So if you see, you have to specify a logic name, you have to specify the type, and then you have to add an action to it. Let me edit this. I have created the logic name, pin code. Type I have selected as JavaScript. And here what I have done is result equal to true, and I'm returning the result. That means it will return a true value. Now, why am I doing this? When your logic returns a true value, the particular action, the custom code that you will write, the JavaScript code will get executed. If this return false, it will not get executed, the action which is there, right? So that is the reason to default it with that I always want to execute the action which is there. I'm defaulting the value true over here. You can do return true as well, but I'm just following the best practices and using the variables and not just directly typing it, right? So the very first thing that you have to do is give a logic name. In type, you have multiple, you have to select JavaScript. In text area, you have to do result equal to true and return result. Okay, if you see over here, then you will be asked to add an action like we had previously. Here you need to give an action name that is pin code value. And in type again, you have multiple types: property, value, merge component, schema, and custom action. So you have to do custom action. Now, if you might have seen this previous video on how to calculate form components value, I've explained how you can access the value of other form component, right? So if I have a drop down and I have a text field, how in text field I can access the value of the drop down. I've showed that in previous video, but I'm going to show again. So what I'm doing is I'm using the variable result again. Result is equals to data dot select address. Now, if I click on cancel, if I go over here in settings, my field key, that is select address. So to access any firm component value, what you have to do is you have to use data dot that particular logic, that particular key. So result is equals to data dot select address, and then result is equals to, again, result because it has the value dot split by semicolon. If you see in my address which I had displayed them using semicolon, like they were concatenated using semicolon. So I'm going to split that. So you will write the split function result dot split. In normal code, we provide that in double quotes, but in JavaScript, make sure you provide that in single quotes. And the index, you don't specify in the round brackets, but the square brackets. That is going to be 0, since 0 is my pin code. And then you are going to return the result. When you do return result, it will automatically assign that value to your pin code text box. Now, if I want to do similar logic for, let's say, city, I'm going to do that. I've copied this and I'm going to show from scratch. Here I'm going to go to logic, click on add logic, logic name. I'm going to keep it as city. JavaScript, as you know, what we are going to write over here is result equal to true, semicolon, return result. That is done. This is the first thing that you will do. Add action, city value. It is going to be custom action. I'm going to paste that, but instead of 0, my index is going to be 1. So here, if you know JavaScript, you can write whatever, you can write if conditions and all as well. That will be in little advanced parts of the JavaScript logics that we write, but for now, we'll just focus on the basics. So I just changed the split index to 1 and return result. Now I'm going to save the action, save the logic, click on save over here and save my form. Now when I run it again, so if you see the pin code is over here, Washington Zoo. So this is how you can write custom logic in your UiPath forms. And this was a pretty straightforward logic, but we also covered that how you can access different component values, how you can write a split function or a JavaScript logic, what is the difference between the logic and the action that you are writing. So to execute an action, again, I'm repeating, to execute an action, your logic should return a true value, then that will get executed, right? So that is how this particular thing works. And please let me know if you're trying to write some custom logic in UiPath forms and you want me to make a video on that, or if there is anything that you need help, particularly with UiPath forms or UiPath apps as well, since I am an MVP for UiPath apps and have been making multiple videos around that as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to post that in the comments section. So thank you for watching the complete video, and I hope it helped you understand and write at least the simple or the basic level of JavaScript logics, and there will be more videos coming soon. Thank you for watching the complete video.